Welcome to the Occupational Safety Leadership Podcast, episode number 282. And in today's short and sweet episode, let's just talk a little bit about professional development. So, there are areas out there that you probably don't really feel comfortable in when it comes to safety. Whether that be confined space, lockout, tagout, machine guarding, whatever it is. And I'm not talking about things that are not currently applicable to what you're doing out there because in an ideal world we would know everything about all things at all times. That's just not logical and reasonable. But if you're in a job that has a lot of lockout tagout in it, you should do everything you can to know everything you can about lockout tagout out there. Most of us think about power only, of course, but obviously there's all kinds of forms of hazardous energy out there. Same thing with confined spaces. So we may be thrust into either a new role or a role that, as the company has expanded, they've now brought confined spaces into a workplace that didn't have those prior. So I like to think we're smarter than that, but I also know that companies do all kinds of stuff, most of the time by accident. I don't think anyone's purposely adding more hazards and potential hazards out there to the workforce, but that doesn't mean that it's not happening out there. Uh, so now we have to get really good at confined space out there. So there's going to be those areas out there. You could also have areas that you feel pretty good about safety, but maybe you're having trouble with the metrics, communicating your point to the executives out there. So I know for me, it's real easy to talk to the everyday folks. I see them all day, every day. Walk the floor, talk to them. It's real easy. The harder part, of course, is when you have to really get somebody's time and attention on the executive side. Then, so because for them, time really is money out there. So you got to have your speech down. You just can't walk in there and hey, we're going to talk about football and we're going to do a couple of things, and then we'll kind of get around to the topic. What they really want to know is tell me exactly what I want to know and tell me how we're going to make things better, or tell me how everything is awesome and great and how I am awesome and great, and then leave my office. So there's different messages out there. So this is also part of professional development. So I think that I have mentioned on many of these previous podcasts that I did everything I could to dodge public speaking. So maybe public speaking is your thing. So it's just to really get better at it. That doesn't mean that you're an expert, but you're taking those steps. You're getting out of your comfort zone because our comfort zone is going to tell us you're fine. Everything you know is just good. There's no need to ever get professional development. There's no need to think about a risk assessment a different way. Your way is perfect. So I want us all to sit down and just kind of think about what do we need professionally to get better out there. And this is not an answer that's going to apply to everybody because we're all different out there. And then, obviously, talk to your boss. What can I do for funding? What can I do for the planning? What can I do for this stuff? Because it would be great if they would give us a blank check and say, hey, why don't you go spend a couple weeks, go kind of figure this out, go get you some courses. If you got travel, you got travel. So we have to be smart enough to say we have to kind of do it now and do the research and figure out where these things are, and then how much is the money and how much is all the rest and all that. And then let's say that the company says what you have is a great plan, but we don't have any money for this. So I have worked at places where professional development was on your own. So one of the things that you can do is do this on your own. In an ideal sense, of course, your off time is your off time, but probably anybody in safety has gone home and your brain is still on and you're thinking, how do I solve this? And so you are doing some work at home. You may not really think about it as like professional development, but that might be forced with what you have to do is that if the money is just not there, you have to come up with your own plan and then execute it the very best that you can out there. And like all things, there's a lot of tools out there. Talk to different folks, listen to the different podcasts, look at the different training. There's a lot of really great things out there. Um, and I like to think that am a data point of one. I want others, of course, obviously, to say, um, I want something that's different. I want something that's going to apply more for my work site because, as all of us know, there's not going to be a one size fits all out there. I could say something that works great at somebody's and fails at somebody else's site out there. Just like when you find things, you got to figure out what's going to work for you. So at this point, I think I'm just rambling on, but I want everybody to sit down, think about professional development, which you need to go to that next level, come up with a plan, execute that plan. So, and with that, I want to thank everybody for listening. My name is Dr. David Ayers. Have a safe day.